She's not just another notch on the old belt. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer, talking movies. This is episode 142, and I'm your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. A very special episode is in store for you. And before we get started, let's go around and meet the fellow bros who are here for the movie discussion. We start in the paint with our enforcer, Matt Geiger. Geiger, would 8-year-old you have respected the Bash Brothers in the Mighty Ducks or tried to beat the shit out of them to establish your dominance?
Not only would I respect them, I'd go up to them and just say, hey, I like your work, now I'm going to be your leader. Because actually, whenever I saw that, it made me want to drink milk before bed and then crank music while I was sleeping, which makes no fucking sense at all. How could you sleep with music cranked?
And you got to put your feet out of the sheets.
Isn't that so 90s when people used to sleep with the radio on? I never got that.
Yeah, that was really weird. I remember I was at a sleepover one time, and the kid whose room we were all in insisted on playing the new Limp Bizkit CD.
Dude, right here, man.
Oh, sorry. Cycly, is that you?
Yeah. Hey.
Speaking of that guy, that's our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycly. Now, Cycly, Gordon Bombay got a sweetheart deal from a judge after a DUI and a record 12 moving violations. Is it safe to assume that I can commit felonies at the same rate and receive a similar punishment?
Yeah, except unfortunately for you, you're not allowed around children. So you would be having to be forced to be a coach of an adult co-ed hockey league. So, I think it could go just as well.
Sounds miserable. They wouldn't even be like lovable losers. They'd just be assholes who got off work and are pissed that someone's bossing them around.
They just want an excuse to drink after work without their wives around.
Well, then don't play on a co-ed team. You think your wife's going to approve of that?
Not at all.
Cycly,
right.
How many people, whenever you get them in DUI, just after the judge says you lost your license, you got to pay $40,000, just be like, can I just coach a youth hockey team?
Look, Your Honor, I have a suggestion that will work out for everyone. Yes, my client killed 2 people while he was driving drunk, but Pee Wee hockey is the greatest punishment known to man. He will make amends to the community.
One thing I learned from that scene in the Mighty Ducks is that there's apparently a conversion chart. No matter what your crime is, there's a certain amount of community service hours that you can do in lieu of any jail time. It might be 1,000 for murder, but
the biggest thing, you get the victim's family out there. Be like, Your Honor, the best punishment would be for him.
That's what OJ had to do, and he just threw a golf tournament for himself.
I was saying, community service sounds really vague.
That's the movie I would watch. I would watch O.J. Simpson coaching a bunch of misfits.
God.
He'd get that team whipped into shape, I guarantee you.
They go 0-2, and he's like, can I just do the jail time? I'm sick of coaching this fucking team.
I did it. I confess.
All right, well, here on the Bro 4 Squad, we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. And as you could probably tell from the title of this episode, tonight we are doing our third installment in one of my favorite segments, are In Defense of Villains. Now, previously, we have done this for Cal from the movie Titanic on episode 124. And episode 137, we defended Scar from The Lion King. So tonight, we are doing In Defense of Villains of the Hawks in the original Mighty Ducks movie from 1992. Matt, I know it's a little bit self-explanatory, but why don't you tell the people essentially what In Defense of Villains is?
Well, it's basically where we see the other side of the story, Jeff, because as we know with anything in life, if it's your girlfriend or politics or anything, you usually only get one side, and then that'll kind of mirror your, way of thinking and stuff. So no one's ever told the Hawks side of this story, and that's what we're going to do for you guys right here, and then you could be the judge at home. We're not going to try to make you think. We'll just give you the other side of the story because you got the Ducks side, and you can be the judge on who is actually right and who is actually wrong.
Yeah, we have the other side of the story. Let's complete the puzzle. Now, Cycly, as a lawyer, well, first off, you were on our Mighty Ducks movie commentary with Brian Banner, which is dropping very soon. But this segment seems tailor-made for you because you're a fan of justice. And like Geiger just said, we can't have that unless we hear the holistic argument for who is the villain in a respective story.
Absolutely. I think inherently we say in a lot of movies that just because you're good at something, you're automatically the bad guy, labeled the bad guy. What is truly the reason that the Hawks are bad in this movie? It's just that they've won a lot. right? We see them hanging out as friends, and we see the Ducks as a group, as an organization that is completely unkempt, unwelcoming to their new coach. They don't want to get better. They're not friendly to their own teammates. I mean, that's what I'm excited to talk to you guys about. Why are we punishing those who do well in society?
Beautifully said. Now, the way that we typically do this, it's a little bit informal, but we have a series of arguments we would like to present you with as the audience. And we'll, of course, stake our claim as to why they present the quote-unquote villain of the film in an unfair light. And then you at home can weigh the facts. You, like Geiger said, you've seen the other side in the film. Here's the rest of the story. So our first point today that I'd like to discuss is the Hawks, the aforementioned Hawks, of course, are District 5 champions who actively care about hockey. They invest in equipment and good rink time for their players. They practice religiously. Is that cause alone to view them as antagonists? Because Cycling, I'll give you the floor first. Like you said, that is presented as a huge detriment to them as people because they actively care about winning and succeeding in Pee Wee hockey.
Yeah, and it's all about perspective, right? We could watch a movie about an Olympian, about Michael Phelps, of someone who's won so many gold medals. And when it's told from his perspective, why wouldn't you be rooting for him? Same with the Hawks. They've won the district championship. I believe it's been about like 20 years in a row up until Gordon Bombay as a child missed it off the crossbar. And, you know, I just think it's interesting to see from a perspective of you watch these winners who work for it. They're obviously not gifted this. They are out there winning, training every day together. And that's all we know about them. And so we don't like them inherently because they win.
Yeah, we're slighting them because they have a passion and they want to pursue it and get better at it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. What are they supposed to be doing?
Exactly. They're supposed to fail. And case in point, the trailer for the Mighty Ducks Game Changer series, which is coming out soon, that kind of appears to be the same narrative. It's like, well, fuck the team that actually puts effort into this. We want it handed to us.
I do love that the Ducks are the bad guys, though.
Yeah. Geiger, your thoughts?
Okay, so anybody on the Mighty Ducks or what's going to be District 5 and turn into the Mighty Ducks, they could go and try out for the Hawks. Like, the Hawks are labeled as rich kids, but that's not necessarily true. They're like sponsored by a bunch of people, just like the Ducks will be later. And the thing is, so Cycly, you're a very accomplished lawyer, right?
I don't, maybe my mom would say so.
So
Ask
what if
MGM
I just showed
he's
up to your law firm tomorrow with no training, no nothing? Like, I want to be a lawyer too. I'm going to be a lawyer today.
Yeah, I'd be like, you got to work for it.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be pissed, right? You're like, you think it's that easy just to come in and just do my fucking job? You know,
you think I woke up like this?
Yeah. You know how much schooling and lying I've had to do to fucking get to this point? And that's how I feel about the fucking Ducks versus the Hawks. The Hawks are probably like, dude, these punks just think they can just fucking walk in here and play hockey. They're sorely mistaken. And the thing is, there is no bullying in sports. Now, if these kids were just like, if this is just high school or something or middle school, I could say they're bullying. But in sports, there is no bullying. There's not. If you're in football and you get tackled, you're like, that kid's bullying me. Well, then don't play football.
Yeah, if you want to get on the field, court, rink against these guys, then fucking all bets are off.
Yeah.
You play to win the game.
But this guy's bullying me. He keeps punching me.
We actually see, speaking of bullying, we see the Ducks bullying more than the Hawks.
Yeah, they're like punk kids, street kids, man.
Yeah. And we'll get into some of the issues with what they do on the ice. If you guys are comfortable with it, I'd like to move on to our second point around Coach Riley. So, Coach Riley of the Hawks, again, everything in the film is presented from Gordon Bombay's point of view, essentially, right? And we're constantly shown this flashback to a young Gordon Bombay when he played for the Hawks and missed a penalty shot because of a fucking cocky triple deke move, which would be like shooting a free throw in the NBA, but like spinning it on your finger first and then like tossing it towards the basket. So we really let his team down there, but I digress. But Coach Riley, who coached Bombay as a kid, really tells no lies in his speech to motivate Gordon before the crucial penalty shot. And he says, and you tell me where the something that isn't factual is located here. He says, quote, "If you miss the shot, you're not just letting me down, you're letting the whole team down." End quote. Geiger, where's the lie?
I mean, especially when you think it's the 90s, it's just hard-nosed coach, just basically just kind of tell them the truth, man. And if if you don't like that, if you think that's too much pressure, then maybe you're just not cut out for Pee Wee hockey.
Now, Cycling, I will say this: when he references how he doesn't want Gordon to let down his dead father, maybe that was crossing a bit of a line. But the first part,
I'm sorry, Jeff. Do you know his dad?
You don't know how to be motivated, clearly.
Yeah. You gotta light a fire under a kid. Also, remember your dad's dead, and he'll posthumously disown you. But hey, good luck out there, sport. We don't triple deke.
Look, I won't tell you that Coach Riley is a saint. You know, that's what I'm not here to do. You can clearly see that Gordon Bombay is no saint, as in the tactics that you see that he, tends to coach to the Ducks in the early stages when they're feigning injuries and obviously cheating. There's no saint here. We are all imperfect people. All I can say about Coach Riley is he clearly this is what he does after work, guys. He is not a full-time Pee Wee hockey coach. He doesn't get paid the big bucks. He's clearly volunteering. And you know what? Does he say things that are a little rash? Absolutely. Did he go a little too far? Maybe. But you know what? They have won 20 district championships in a row. Clearly, he's doing something right.
Let me quote another great coach, Bobby Bowden, who said, "Everyone loves sausage, but no one wants to see how it's made."
Also, I'm realizing, you don't pick up on this as a kid, but if you've been coaching, to coach any youth team in a rec league where your child isn't on the team is kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that doesn't apply to Riley.
You're usually single, living in an apartment, and have game films of said team that you watch while drinking beer, eating pizza, and calling chicks for setting up dates.
What we don't know is Coach Riley was actually convicted to community service, but just 100,000 hours, and that's why he's always coaching the Hawks.
Oh my God, it's like the sentence that Marley and Marley get in A Muppet Christmas Carol.
It doesn't end.
Doom for all time.
Check out our movie commentary on that as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. Speaking of sentences, let's move on to Gordon Bombay, who is a selfish, narcissistic alcoholic working with underprivileged kids. And on top of that, this is the reason why the Ducks are the villain, he's also banging one of his players' moms with no intention of making an honest woman out of her. So, Geiger, he's the hero?
Once again, too, with Riley and all of his flaws. So he's been a coach for 20 years and have coached winning teams. And since Gordon Bombay has, I'm using in air quotes, character arc, that he's a dick for 75% of the movie, and then the last 25% he's good, we're supposed to cheer him on, I'm not buying it. No, thank you. I will hitch my wagon to Coach Riley and the Hawks.
And to be perfectly honest, on a rewatch of this film, he's a dick to Charlie until he sees how hot his mom is.
Yeah.
And then completely shapes up. Now,
Jeff, you were also a dick to Charlie until you saw how hot his mom was. So
it was a total coincidence those things happened at the same time. When he said his mom worked at a diner, that didn't do it for me.
It looks like a single wide trailer.
Cycly, I'll get your take on Bombay. As a fellow lawyer with him, how disgusted are you with his actions throughout the film?
Well, obviously he doesn't care about his clients, as you see that in the beginning of the film. It's just about winning. Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth, He doesn't enjoy life. He doesn't enjoy anything except the satisfaction of what he gets. So again, we're supposed to act like he's some saint compared to Coach Riley. And we see how he treats Charlie's mom in the second movie. We see how much of an impact she made on him. I'm sorry, Miss McKay all of a sudden walking through the door. Oh, who's Charlie's mom? I don't remember her.
And the Iceland chick.
And the Iceland
chick. And Charlie.
And in the book, didn't they hook up? You've read the book.
I forgot about the book.
Oh my God, I forgot there's a novelization.
There's a novelization. And it is very detailed, guys.
Imagine seeing someone reading that on the subway. What the fuck is that?
I would give them a Bro4 Squad business card and be like, dude, you have to check out our podcast.
You have to come on right now.
I need your subscription, please.
But Charlie's a susceptible, he doesn't have a dad. It's just he's just seeking that father figure. And I'm sorry, but Bombay does not take that responsibility seriously.
Bombay is like a shark with blood in the water when he sees how badly Charlie needs a male role model in his life.
If you watch all these movies 3 in a row, you'll be like, did they just forget he was a lawyer until the third one when it just kind of fits in the fucking script?
I love that. I'm sorry, did you just spend $150,000 on law school? Yeah, I'm going to go coach hockey for a while.
Yeah. We found his true calling. So yeah, but what pays off those
and then
student
sharpened
loans?
Skates.
Yeah.
Can I pay off my student loans with community service hours?
Like
That's what
he's
it
like,
should
yeah, I
have.
blew out my knee playing in the minors. He's like, so I'm sharpening skates. Like, could you just hitch on with a law firm? I mean, you got the
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah, but dude, come on. Lawyers only make so much money. You're shopping skates with Hans
You
and
have to-
Jans.
Or yawns,
You're making
You
the
don't
money.
have to do this, Bruce Wayne, The Dark Knight Rises like story here. You could maybe just get a different job.
Yeah. There's a lot of lawyers out there.
Yeah, you could
there's
work as like
availability.
work in like the legal department at a company. You don't have to
Oh,
necessarily be like a
shit.
practicing lawyer. You still make money with a degree. All right, next up. So the Hawks, not once in this film do they call anyone a cake eater. Now, this is a term, a slur, dare you, that is used by the Ducks on multiple occasions. Not just Jesse, but other players use it as well. And I'm not entirely sure what it means, but it sounds racially and culturally insensitive. And it is thrown around. It's far too common vernacular for the Ducks. And Bombay not once thinks to shut this down or tell them it's inappropriate. Cycly, what are your thoughts on this? It's an aspect of the Ducks that I feel like is often overlooked.
I really have always wondered what cake eater means. I don't know if it's an insinuation of, like you said earlier, the Hawks are rich players, and so they eat cake. And the Ducks are poor players, so they eat, I don't know, it's something poor people eat. Pudding? I don't know. I eat cake myself, and that's why I have to defend those who eat cake. I enjoy cake, okay? It's a good dessert for meal, so I don't know why that's an insult.
I guarantee you every player on the Ducks has eaten cake at one point, so it seems hypocritical at best.
Yeah.
Racial.
You're telling me they've never gone to a birthday party at Leaps and Bounds?
Yeah, well, maybe not specifically at Leaps and Bounds. That might be a local establishment. Geiger, what are your thoughts on the cake eater term that's thrown around way too often by Jesse and the Ducks?
See, I don't think it's racial. I think it means to like eat veg. Because sometimes they call it pound cake. That's how I always took it.
Bunt cake, yeah.
And that's an insult?
Once again, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't think Jesse even gets it. He must have heard his dad say it one time and he just repeated it. I just want to bring up the cake eater thing. Another one. So Gordon Bombay, in the movie, it's shown on film, vandalized an ice rink by smashing 4 dozen eggs on it while trying to teach the Ducks how to have soft sticks when catching and receiving a pass. Now, would the Hawks do some bullshit like that? Because the rink manager has to clean that up. Another thing that took place in the same practice that I think is disgusting is Bombay also tied a kid's arms and legs to a goal against his will, that being Goldberg, and fired 30 slap shots at him before leaving him tied up and in the ice rink overnight. I mean, Geiger, these are criminal offenses.
Well, and also too, like if you're the new kid on the block, and I'm guessing a lot of people like use that rink, like afterwards there's eggs all over the fucking place. You're like, what the hell are these people fucking doing?
Yeah.
Imagine coming in the next day and there's eggs everywhere and Goldberg is still tied up to the net. Like, what in the hell happened here last night?
Yeah, the police would be called. Absolutely.
Jesus Christ. They'd be like, are you the guy who's like already on probation with community service and this is what you do next? It's like,
The Zamboni doesn't clean up the eggs like that. You have to manually clean that up.
If anything, the Zamboni's going to make it worse by like meshing them into the ice.
Yeah.
That's an injury risk. Imagine Gordon Bombay trying to explain that to the cops.
All I think is Denzel just screaming, "You blot that shit." That's $5,000 Alapache rug.
Yeah. And then the cops are like, and then you tied the kid to the net? Yeah, to teach him how to be a goalie.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem a little fucked up.
But don't you think that at the end of the day, the Ducks win, so you don't question Bombay's coaching tactics, And I think, sorry,
What's the difference of him tying him to the net and the coach from Airbud throwing basketballs as hard as he can?
one won the championship and one didn't.
At least the kid in Airbud could defend himself. You know what I'm saying? Goldberg can't.
I'm just saying it's how we treat people in society. A coach can be a dick if he wins, and when Riley loses, then we look at him. Oh, he's a dick. But you know what, Bombay, he has these horrible coaching tactics, and then boom, they win the championship. You're not talking about how he coaches. You're talking about the trophy.
It's sick. And we might reference Just Win, Baby later on in the podcast.
Winning cures everything.
Another point I have, the Ducks clearly have an illegal player in Fulton Reed. Now, not only did Bombay manipulate him to forfeit a scholarship that he had to a prep school, which he lost by playing Pee Wee hockey. They state that in the film. But he's also failed sixth grade, making him older than any of the Hawks and essentially ineligible. And he also steals Adam Banks mid-season from the Hawks in a disgusting attempt to win by gerrymandering the county lines in District 5. All across the board, this roster construction is really sickening. Cycli, what are your thoughts on some of the supplemental moves that Bombay did to the Ducks when he just was not happy with the current roster?
I think there's two things we can look at. Adam Banks, okay, arguably the best player on the Hawks. And okay, fine, there's a technicality. It's improper that he was supposed to be on the Hawks. He actually lives with the Ducks. That's fair. But these are sixth graders we're talking about. In the middle of a season, you're going to rip a player out from his team and his friends. You know what? Do it at the end of the season. When I was a kid playing soccer, this would happen all the time. This actually was a common occurrence, and you would just change after the season because you don't do that to kids who are playing for fun and with their friends. And I believe Banks has taken away, what 2 games left in the season?
Yeah, he assuming they didn't make the playoffs, he would have had 2 games. He would have the game against the Cardinals and the Hornets.
And can you imagine if they don't make the playoffs, which we can get into how the hell the Ducks made the playoffs.
Oh, the mysterious illness that the Panthers contracted?
But can you imagine if Banks misses out on that
COVID
as well?
protocol before COVID protocol.
It's just, it's unreal. And to Fulton, I'll get Geiger get into this one, but at the end of the day, do you not have a trade deadline or a roster deadline? I mean, you can't just be having anyone come out off the street. It's just improper.
Yeah, well, Geiger, in recruiting Fulton Reed, again, Fulton Reed has a scholarship to play football to a preparatory school that they say he will lose, which is the whole reason he doesn't play hockey. And Bombay selfishly and short-sightedly makes him give that up to come play Pee Wee hockey. I mean, that's straight up sick, right?
I mean, yeah, I know you have a really nice house, but give that up to come live in a fucking box with me. I mean, it makes no sense. And he's never played hockey. It's the same Little Giants bullshit of throwing toilet paper down aisle 8. Like, it makes no fucking sense.
And if they wouldn't have made the playoffs, he would have given up his whole future for 2 weeks of Pee Wee hockey.
Yeah, for what?
And secondly, for Banks, I don't think that's correct because District 5 wasn't a team. So there's no lines drawn.
They show the map, but suspiciously they don't let the camera get a really good.
Okay, they were a team, and Bombay took them over. Okay, that's right.
But remember, Hans says they redrew the lines recently, which is skeptical enough. Yeah. I have my issues with that. Like, who's in charge of that fucking decision?
And I'm not saying Bombay is wrong to get Banks. I mean, I get it. That's where the kid lives. But to do that with 2 games left in a season, to rip a kid out from his friends. I remember people would move districts, like literally to a different school district in the middle of the year. And the school district themselves would be like, okay, that's fine. Finish out the year. Next year, you have to go to the other school.
Right.
And I love when Banks joined the team. Was he welcomed?
No.
The same way Bombay wasn't welcomed.
Do you think Tom Brady was welcome to the Bucks like that? Like, hey, dude, you and your Super Bowls just get the hell out of here. We don't want you here. You're not a true Buck.
I said that on the commentary. Why would you not want Banks on your team?
Well, and Jesse, Charlie tries to welcome him, and Jesse says, "Fuck this guy," and Bombay does nothing to correct that behavior.
Yeah, where's the coaching?
Literally 2 feet behind him, just watching. All right, speaking of the playoffs, and I'm going to skip one of these points and come back to it because I want to get right into this. So it is mentioned by Hans that the Panthers, who were going to be in the playoffs, all of a sudden contracted the measles, and now they're no longer eligible at all. Or not eligible, but they can't complete their season. So that's one less team, the Ducks, who were in the last place, have to pass. So, Matt, I got to ask, did the Panthers just take like a team field trip to Wuhan, or is Gordon Bombay somehow involved in this? Because I see red flags all over the place.
Well, isn't this 96? Don't we have vaccinations for that shit?
Yeah, the measles is something you die of in like the 1700s, like after the Salem witch trials.
But yeah, I could see maybe Bombay just being like, hey man, just like the coach of the measles has, I don't know if the woman was willing or not. I wasn't fucking there, but Bombay's like, hey man, I'll work on this case for you pro bono. You won't spend a minute behind bars. You might just have to plead to some, misconduct, but your team needs to miss the playoffs.
It's just very suspicious. And the fact that the league wouldn't think to shut down or like, no one really feels sorry for the Panthers. It's just
Can we quarantine?
Yeah, we just fucking all move up a spot in the standings. Hell yeah. I mean, Cycli, it's pretty sickening, right?
Here's what doesn't make sense. The overall record, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they finish before the playoffs start. They finish 1-1-11. They have 1 win, 1 tie, and 11 losses. And yet you're convincing me now that they're in the playoffs. And the playoffs, by the way, start in the quarterfinals, which means there are 8 teams in the playoffs. When they show the standings, there are about 12 teams.
And I believe Hans says everyone but the last 2 teams make it.
Yes. So there are more suspicious circumstances that we're missing out on. It's not just the Panthers getting measles. It's that something else went down, and the movie didn't want to show us what really happened.
Bombay was like, we don't have enough time to like actually do this with wins and losses. We need to find other ways to eliminate the teams ahead of us by any means necessary.
I love the 90s. They're just basically like, hey, they all got the measles. It's better not to ask questions and just bump the teams below them up.
No. Matt,
like, should we test the other kid? No, it's fine.
Well, why would we do that?
they have like their whole coach is just this anti-vax MLM mom.
This is Minnesota, not California. Like, that makes no fucking sense.
I could see one guy in like the league meeting, like, well, should we test the other teams? Guys like, and push the fucking Pee Wee playoffs back a week? What are you, drunk?
The tickets have been sold out for months.
We press on, god damn it.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, this thing, rain or shine, we're fucking playing this next Wednesday. Another point that I had, so we're supposed to hate the Hawks because they're, well-funded, which Cycly references, because there is a scene in the movie, and they play it for laughs, but Gordon Bombay extorts his law firm for $15,000 to fund his Pee Wee team. And to be honest, when they're going to Hans Hockey Store, first off, Cycly, correct me if I'm wrong, it has got to be collusion that they spend that money specifically with Hans, right?
Oh, I mean, yeah, there's no insider jab right there. Like, oh, hey, I don't know this guy. Oh, yeah, sure, we're going to give you all this money. It's absolutely corrupt.
And
at
as
the
a result,
highest level.
Geiger, I don't know if you remember, but they spend pretty liberally. I mean, it's like they walk through the doors, and because he wants, he's probably getting a cut on the back end from Hans. He's like, you fucking buy whatever you want. Shit, buy 2 of everything.
Right.
Goldberg is trying on pads for shit that he doesn't even need protected.
Friends
and notice,
Jeff, what do you mean? It's just the way it is. And
Business is about relationships.
I think we were all part of teams. Like, one of my worst baseball teams, we actually had the best jerseys because we had like a really rich kid on the team, and his dad's like, hey, my business will sponsor you and we'll do, so all of that stuff, like nice jerseys, like doesn't really mean that much. I mean, me and Jeff played slow pitch softball, and we had literally Hanes t-shirts with markers for numbers, and we're playing teams with like the camo jerseys, and we beat their ass. So it doesn't
$600
really
bats. Yeah. One other thing that I think is really messed up is he tells Ducksworth that the law firm can be the sponsor of the team. And Cycly, it literally just says Ducks on the jersey. There's nothing about a law firm or the other 2 partners.
Nothing.
Which he references the other 2 partners when he gets approval for the funding. Their name is nowhere to be found on this jersey.
And you can tell Bombay does it sarcastically when he's like, quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. Like, he's not doing it to honor the firm. He's making fun of him being a duck. Like, how does everyone feel about being the Ducks? They hate it. They're like, what, the Ducks? That's not a cool mascot. He does it to, be a dick about it. And can I make a point to the corruption we were just talking about? I find it odd that they spend $15,000 at Jan's shop. And then, who's coming in first class the next day from Germany? It's Jan's. What's up? How did you get here all of a sudden? That's convenient.
How did you get a green card?
Mm-hmm.
But if I were a law firm and I gave you $15,000...
before the wall. Yeah. Fucking anybody could just come on in.
Fucking Swedes. If I gave you $15,000 for me to be the sponsor of your Pee Wee team, and you show up and my law firm name is, even if it, let's say it doesn't result in any additional clientele, just for the sheer, it's optics. It looks good to sponsor an underprivileged team. If my name was nowhere on your jerseys, I would be livid.
What about the word Ducks means that Duckworth law firm?
Your name's Jeff Hornacek, so the team would be the Longhorns.
Exactly.
And we're like, this in no way promotes my business at all.
Or thanks the sex.
Thanks for the $15,000 check that I spent at my best friend's hockey shop. Fuck off. The more I think about this, that is just a...
That is insider trading to the...
It's sickening. Yeah, and then the price of Hans' skate shop went up. No wonder he's died under suspicious circumstances.
He's not grateful to Ducksworth either, because when he goes and Ducksworth is like, hey, let Banks finish out the season. He literally goes, next year he'll be on the right team. he's not saying, hey, thanks so much for the $15,000. You know, it's right. We're just playing for fun. I'm giving these kids guidance, giving them a good mentor. No, it's fuck you. I'm taking the kid and your money.
Not to jump ahead, Jeff, but the Mighty Ducks 30 for 30, if we don't get the PS2 version of Han and Jan, like telling since they're both dead, then I won't watch.
And they're both like sharpening skates as they're talking. But can you turn that thing off? It's actually really fucking loud. I can't hear you. What, Gordon? All right, the last point I had, and then
Bombay has a cane.
And then obviously anything you guys want to discuss that we didn't count or include here is obviously at the end of the movie there is a dicey moment where Coach Riley puts out a hit on Adam Banks. And I believe that this was a test. McGill, the Hawks player, he never wanted him to injure anybody. In fact, he really just wanted to see if McGill had any character or strong moral fiber. And he essentially failed the tests. And Geiger, I want to specifically point out to you, Adam Banks' CAT scans came back inconclusive. So I think we're fine.
And also, too, hockey is honestly a more physical. I've never played hockey, but it's a more physical sport than football. So if your boy's playing against there, wait, you're not supposed to check him against the wall? You're not supposed to get physical with him?
He's trying to stop a goal, man. It's a breakaway.
Tiddlywinks. Or tiddlywinks, you know?
It's neither of those.
Yeah. Geiger, can I just say
because one of them doesn't exist.
Geiger, honestly, I'm just shocked you haven't played hockey because I feel like you'd be a really good goalie. Like, they would never score against you.
Because I'm so fat.
Because you're so goddamn fat. I'm sure the league wouldn't let, because your fat would just clog up the whole
That's the biggest bar question ever, is like, why don't they just put a sumo wrestler back there? And that's like usually an hour-long conversation.
Dude, Cycling and I have legit had this conversation probably once a year.
Why don't they?
I don't get it.
And then I think one time...
It seems like the black NFL quarterback in the 70s. Like, you're missing a big opportunity here if you just like...
This is a lot easier than you guys are making it seem.
Yeah. It's like, if I remember right, one time your wife said, people that fat don't exist, and we just continued to Google search fat people. You're like, tell me this guy couldn't block the whole net?
Look, I'm not telling you they'll be able to cover the entirety of the goal, but they could lay down enough to where the only available slots are the both top corners, 90-degree angles.
I love when people say, well, they couldn't skate. And I say, who the fuck said anything about skating?
Yeah. Just lay down.
The thing is, they can't get the entirety of the goal, but who cares? Because only like a four-goal game is a big score in hockey, and they're aiming toward the whole fucking goal, and they only score 4. Imagine if they only had like a 2x3 or whatever area. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
There's no way they just score.
With the crossbar there, it's incredible. All right, Cycly, do you want to add anything to the hit Riley put out on Banks?
Yeah, again, I said this earlier. We're not sitting here to tell you the Hawks are even the good guys. You know, I'm not here to tell you Riley is the greatest mentor coach ever, and that I would want my child to play for him. What I think we're trying to say is, you know, it's all about perspective, and you can film anything in the story you want to make it about to be. You can frame any story you want, whether in your personal life or at work. You're going to make that story to your benefit. And I think this is clearly just showing Riley looks like an evil guy, but you can turn the tables around really quickly and say the same thing about Gordon Bombay. You know, again, I'm just going to say this about Riley. The guy might be flawed, but he knows how to win.
Agreed. And Gag, I know we're fans of the NCAA tournament. If I were to do, the blind resume that they always do, like they take the school name off and say, here's their quality wins, their RPI. If I were to do that and list out Gordon Bombay and Coach Riley, I think based on what we've just gone over, you would have a very legitimate, like someone just blindly would say, oh, this dude's the fucking villain and point to Gordon Bombay.
What one coach asks a kid to get physical, with their best player. The other coach asks the entire team to take falls.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, this ain't European soccer. This is Minnesota Pee Wee hockey.
It's the big leagues. What does Ryan Reynolds say? This
isn't stick out your pinky, drink your tea, and watch the Premier League on Saturday morning. You know what I mean? This is
and eat cake while you do it.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. All right, that's all that I had garnered from an additional. Again, I've seen this movie probably 10 times in my life. But not in like the past few years. So rewatching it this week was quite a treat. That's really all that I gathered as far as information to really make this point. But I'll give you guys each a chance to make your closing arguments. Cycly, for or against the Hawks as the villain in the Mighty Ducks? And if you had to sum it up in, again, a closing thought or a thesis, what would your somebody should be.
Yeah, my closing thought in these would be just because you're an underdog doesn't make you inherently good. Just because you're consistently winning doesn't make you inherently bad. There's such a thing as team culture, school culture, fan culture that exists. And I would just say at the end of the day, the Hawks are neither good nor bad. They are who they are supposed to be. And that is sixth graders playing hockey who are trying to win a championship.
Well said. Geiger, how about you?
Yeah, and I'll go to culture and tie this into when Boise State beat OU. If you're a high school kid watching that game, 9 times out of 10 they're like, okay, Boise State pulled one over on them, but 9 times out of 10 OU will beat them. Next year you're going to OU. You're not going to Boise State because of the culture and they're just a better team. If you're a hockey player in Minnesota watching that game, you're still going to go play for the Hawks if you have the choice because they just have a better culture and a better team, and 9 times out of 10 they'd win that game.
Yeah.
There's also less film on the Ducks. I mean, they had 20 years of Hawks footage.
The Ducks had to use just like Boise State had to use all the bullshit trick plays to pull it over.
And a coach who knew their system because it hasn't changed,
Mm-hmm.
It broke. I'll say this. You tell this movie from the standpoint of any other team. I'd like to see the movie from the Panthers' point of view. Then the Ducks are really the villains when Gordon Bombay's like injecting their players with antivirus. But if you tell this story,
it'd just be in the hospital, like ER and everything. It'd be like dramatic music trying to save all the kids' lives.
If you tell this story
like
from any other team in the league,
I don't want to die. Damn it, dude! I don't think to say.
Because this movie is really fueled by Gordon Bombay's hate for Coach Riley, which a future coming soon in Defensive Villains for the Sith, we've learned that anger blinds you.
Yeah.
And Gordon Bombay is not seeing this objectively. Like, he clearly has a vendetta against Coach Riley. Whether it's merited or not, it's another issue. Like, we're not professing that you put a poster of Coach Riley up on your wall and pray to him every day.
And just like Coach Riley and Sensei Kreese, it's not their fault that during the biggest moment of your career, you fucking blew it.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's up to you at home to make the decision. Comment below or tweet at us at Bro4Squad whether the Hawks and the Mighty Ducks really are the villain. And I think another fun thing, if you have any villains in movies that you want us to do this on, let us know. We've had, just in the text thread, some great ideas that we've been bouncing about. And the Sith one, that is going to have to be a very special episode because, I mean, we've been talking about
a 2 or 3 parter.
I was going to say that might be an entire pod.
I don't understand. Are people they want us to say how the Jedi are good? I don't understand.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty. If anything, you should make the argument the other way, right? Because the Sith are clearly good guys.
Everyone knows that the Sith are the way to go.
Only one of them allows you to bang chicks.
So you just don't want to have sex your whole life? Have fun with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that sounds.
We've seen how that's played out.
We got to be careful because we will all start going off on a tangent here in a second.
Yeah, Banner will be at home like, no, you had to save that for when I was on the pod. Like, I'm sorry, we lost. Just like the Sith, we lost control of our emotions.
Ugh.
All right. On to the second part of our show, which is our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. Now, I'd like to go round robin here. I don't know if you guys can see my show notes, but Cycly, I watched a movie this past week that you watched a few weeks ago that I really want to talk about with you. And then Matt, obviously, we watched one that I really want to talk about with you. So I have to go take a piss. So why don't I let you go first, Cycly, and say the first thing that's in your cup or what have you watched lately. And by the time it comes back to me, I should be ready to go.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and plug, and I know I already said this to you, Hornacek, so, and I don't think I've talked to you about it, Geiger, is the show Ted Lasso on Apple.
I know what that is. I remember the YouTube clip.
Yes.
Of Sudeikis doing it. Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I was going to say. This is a show that's based off a commercial from 5 years ago. And basically the concept is an American football coach literally goes over to England to coach Premier League soccer. And the commercial was such a hit. Obviously, it was hilarious. And they decided to make a show about it. And the person who is created the show is Bill Lawrence, who is the creator of Scrubs. Okay. And I will say this. It's probably my favorite show in the last year. It is maybe the funniest, most wholesome show. It has nothing. If you're not a soccer fan, don't even worry about it. That's really like very much underlying in terms of what's funny about the show, the character development, the humor. It's you will not regret it watching. I will tell you, you could just do the free trial on Apple. because you will finish the show before that free trial is up, because it's that bingeable, and you will literally just be so happy. In a shitty year that we've been living in, the last calendar year, it's a kind of show that we needed. And so I cannot recommend that show more.
So is it like, I mean, if you haven't seen the commercial, just check it out on YouTube. But basically, he got fired from the NFL, let's say, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go coach football in England, but he doesn't know that football means soccer, and he has no fucking clue what the hell he's talking about. So basically, is the show like, is each week like a different game? Or does he have like a personal life that they get into? Yeah,
they do. So I would say it's a hodgepodge. So they do go a little different than the commercial. He is actually the head football coach at Wichita State, who actually doesn't have a football team in real life. They have a really good Division I basketball
Parcells played there, though.
Yeah. And so he wins the FCS championship. And so what happens is there's a fictional team in England that decides to hire him, and he's just wanting a new challenge. He thinks it's exciting. What we really don't realize is
Tottenham?
Well, that's the commercial. So this is slightly different than the commercial. The way the show is, it's a major league type situation.
Okay.
You think he's being hired because it's kind of like a big major deal. It's a big hire, gets people in the seats,
publicity
stunt. But you find out kind of that the owner of the team wants him to fail, and that's why she hired him.
Okay.
And so, you get a lot of his personal life. You get to into reason why he would randomly take a job in England. It's not just because he wants a new challenge. He's going through things. His assistant coaches, the players. It's a whole story. I mean, it builds on itself, and it's just fundamentally amazing from the beginning. I've gotten my sisters to watch it who don't care about sports. It's literally my favorite show. It's so good.
It's so hard on. I'm getting over streamed platform. Like, there's just too many streaming.
There's
things
so
right
many.
now.
Yeah.
There's just so many.
And Apple TV Plus, I don't think is one worth paying for. Like, there's a few good things, but there's just not enough.
And you might have missed it, Hornacek. I said you could do the free trial and not have to ever pay for it, because the show is only 10 episodes and it's like 25-minute episodes.
Oh, nice.
I mean, there's Hard Knocks and there's All or Nothing and stuff. And even if your team's on it, you're like, man, I just don't want to pay for another streaming service. Like, after a while, it's like, you're like, because I still pay for cable so I can get like live sports and shit. I'm like, man, I just don't want to.
Yeah.
But
and then during the Super Bowl, of course, we get Paramount Plus advertising 10 times. I'm like, dude, it's not going to happen, bro.
They need to stop.
Like, I don't care what's on it, but like, this is the oversaturation point, and this is going to be a whole other.
The thing is, and I'm trying to get rid of my Netflix, but my wife won't let me, because honestly, Netflix doesn't have shit on it. No. HBO Max is like, I mean, they got great movies on there.
Yeah, and especially with them getting the Warner Brothers slate this year. I mean, I know that they've backed down on Dune, but Godzilla vs. Kong's coming there next month. And
but then so is Judas and the Black Messiah. That Leto Denzel movie's on there. Like, every movie that I've seen say that's coming out is going to be on HBO Max.
And Matt, they have all of the Batman the Animated Series is on there.
Yep.
Matt's getting out his wallet right now. He's like, "Where's my credit card?"
I think I get it for free. I just haven't called my AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T gives it for free. That's how I get that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. I just don't know how to.
Awesome. All right. Do we want to go round robin? We can cycle. You and I can do the one we did together.
Yeah, however you guys want. I can go all in or all round robin.
Let's go round robin. Keep everybody's cup partially full. Geiger, what's in your cup?
So I had my cousin come and stay with me, who's a senior in high school, a pretty normal kid, played varsity football, and we were just fucking around, and I was giving him some beer to drink and shit at my house and looking at Netflix. I'm like, nothing's on. So I was like, you want to watch Django? And he's like, I've never seen that before.
What?
So we watched Django.
Oh my God.
That he's never seen.
Were you just looking at him the whole time to see his reaction and everything?
Yeah. And what's funny is, and I do this sometimes, but he'll say, is like, oh, that's where that meme came from. Like when Leonardo DiCaprio was on, like, he didn't know.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes I'll see like a movie and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I didn't know that meme came from there or whatever. But he absolutely fucking loved it. He was like, man, this is pretty cool. He's like, always knew it. And then the best part, which I kind of forgot about, is how it's a Western, but then Rick Ross, 100 Black Caskets just starts playing.
Yeah.
When they're doing the march. I'm like, God damn, dude. Only Tarantino could just throw a rap fucking song of Rick Ross in a Western. But I haven't watched it straight through in a really long time, but it is a fucking phenomenal movie. And it's a pretty easy watch for as long as it is.
I remember loving Christoph Waltz's like little tube
Yes.
bridge that he was riding around in.
Christoph was I fell in love with him in that movie. I mean, he's great in other things that he's done, but man, his performances, him and Leo are
There's so many
good.
Leos, but Don Johnson is so underappreciated. Like he's great as Big Daddy in that movie. Jonah Hill has a guest star, and then
Jonah Hill's cameo is great.
That is
Jeff,
so
the guy
funny.
from Justified. I can't remember.
Walton Goggins or Olaf
Yeah,
Goggins?
and actually he's the main guy in Major League 3 Back to the Minors too. That was like his first role.
He's a villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp also.
And Samuel Jackson's in it at the end, which is fucking
course.
awesome.
Yeah, he actually Samuel Jackson has a huge role in the finale of that movie.
The greatest thing is I was really drunk when Leo came on because I'm like, this is the great. And then when Samuel Jackson's like, can you come in the kitchen? And Leo looks like, get up out of my chair. You want me to get up?
But probably my most used GIF on Twitter is that you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
So many
I'll say
good
that
lines.
When my wife looks upset, I always go up to her like, what seems to be the matter? Because like that's what Leo says when he comes
We're
in.
having white cake.
White cake.
God, Leo is just chewing the fucking.
God,
seat.
he's so fucking good.
And of course, did you tell your cousin about that Leo really broke, cut his hand? and
Yeah,
that
I
blood
told
was
him
real?
that too. I said this is the part where he really cuts his hand, and like when Leo telling that story, he said Tarantino just kept looking back out of the like screen, and he's just like, just keep rolling it. Like this is insane.
Shit.
Yeah,
But the one he kind of looks at his hand, he's just like, and he just kind of shakes it off.
He's like, oh damn.
Leo's such a fucking beast in that movie.
Yeah.
and that's on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go back. I don't think I've seen that since theaters, to be honest.
It's worth it. So good.
All right, so Banner's not on tonight, so I won't talk Bachelor with him. But one movie I did see that Geiger, I think you'd be very interested in, was the DC animated movie Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Mm.
Now, this is I was like, this seems like their animated Avengers Endgame as I was watching it. And I'll tell you why in a sec, but I did a little research. So in the DC animated continuity, I believe since 2007, after Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, they started these like way darker films, like Court of Owls, Son of Batman, Flashpoint, all these. And they're all connected in the same continuity. I believe it's 23 films. And
Under the
this
Red
is
Hood too.
yeah, Under the Red Hood is part of it. Batman All in the Family, which I've talked about on here, is really good. And this is the end of that continuity of those 23 movies. And this is incredible. I gave it 5 stars. I don't know why it's Justice League Dark, because Constantine is in it a lot, but it's really a Justice League movie. And if you have, like, I'm not even kidding, there's probably over 120 DC characters that
Oh my god.
are in this film. Like, if you name anyone, they probably have either a brief speaking role or they're in the battle at some point. And this felt like a culmination event film to end this. It's quick. It's like an hour, 15 minutes. It is incredibly dark. Like, Matt, you would love it. They drop a couple F-bombs. They show people's heads getting smashed. But the craziest thing is so many of these DC characters die in like insane ways. Like, we see them die on screen. It is absolutely epic. And I kind of already want to go back and rewatch it, because there's a scene where the Teen Titans team up with the Justice League, who team up with Justice League Dark, who team up with the Suicide Squad, who are being funded and armed by Lex Luthor to go fight Darkseid. It's fucking incredible.
It's like watching these, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then I'm like, why can't they just like they always have the actors and directors like lined up. Like most of the time I think their casting is fine. Like there's some stuff that I kind of scratch my head at, but their stories are the thing that gets so fucked up, and especially the tone of the movies. I'm like, why can't you guys just do this with real actors and you'd be fine?
I know.
Yeah, I'm been more intrigued at like how short the movie is, because it seems like with that much going on, you kind of would be left wanting.
Right. Yeah, they just get right into it. And the premise is awesome. The voice cast is pretty good. There's a couple recognizable names, but Rosario Dawson is Wonder Woman in it. Probably the biggest name, but it was just great, man. Really fucking cool. And there's literally one scene where I was just like, I can't even go through all the names, but it's like Bane and Black Manta are fighting on the same team, and Bane is like smashing this dude's fucking head, and then Black Manta comes and like steps on his throat and kills him, and I'm just like, this is
Jesus.
badass. And Talia al Ghul stabs a guy through the throat at one point, and when she pulls the sword out, it shows like Harley Quinn on the other side, like you see her through his throat. And I'm like,
Oh,
It's
Jesus.
so weird they make these movies. Like in the theaters, they try to pop them up, but then they're animated or dark, which is weird because they should be meant for kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you think it would be switched.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, Nightwing in this movie says fuck. And I think Nightwing is voiced by Neil Patrick Harris.
What?
Yeah. They have a pretty good
APH wouldn't say fuck, so I think you're wrong.
They had someone come in that day to do the. But Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Apocalypse is spelled APOKOLIPS. Geiger, I watched this. We'll just say it from my local library. I rented it, but I highly recommend it. Like when the baby's asleep, get this on for an hour.
That's
15.
not on HBO Max.
It might be. I just
Okay, because it's a Warner Brothers, so I didn't know.
Yeah, it probably is on there actually.
He had so many books he was returning at the library anyway. So
Who's already there? Yeah.
he was already there.
I'm here anyway.
Two birds with one stone. But Geiger, I can't remember what was the last DC animated film we saw that we were like, yeah, I didn't really like that one.
I don't remember one.
For me, it was The Killing Joke.
Oh yeah, okay, that one did suck. That's probably the only one I've ever not liked.
I haven't seen the Superman. If he was Russian or whatever, and
The Red Sun. I like that one. Yeah. Now this one is like incredible. It is the Avengers Endgame of their universe, and it feels every bit of it.
and they could just do that movie and no one would know because not a lot of people
Like,
even watch
yeah.
this.
Yeah, that's probably the worst part. It's like the best kept secret because DC doesn't market their shit either. Like, I don't know. It's a damn shame that this stuff gets made and no one knows about it.
Damn shame.
It's a damn shame. All right, cycling back to you. What do you got?
Yeah, I got a really weird one. And Horns, I told you I was watching it and I had no idea what to think about it. It's called Vivarium. It's on Amazon Prime. It's Jesse Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Heisenberg. And Imogen Potts. It's really just like a 3-cast movie essentially. It's one of those movies. One, do not watch it unless you really like watching weird type abstract movies that you have to think about. It's not a movie you just casually put on and you're going to laugh at and enjoy. You will either come out of this movie thinking it was the most pointless thing you ever saw. Like, I just wasted an hour and a half of my life. Don't even get it. Or be like, okay, I see the point they were trying to make. It was an interesting movie at the end of the day. I've been watching it because my wife is doing her master's, so I have a lot of nothing to do in the evening right now. So I've been watching a lot of random movies. I love the abstract movies that are kind of dark and that you have to think about for a little bit. The concept essentially is they're this young couple who is going house shopping. They go to this really weird realtor who takes them to this suburban neighborhood. And essentially when they're on the open house, the realtor disappears and they're stuck in the house and they can't find their way out of the neighborhood. The neighborhood is identical. Every house is identical. And they cannot find their way out. They end up being stuck in this house. And I won't say anything more from there. I recommend it only if you feel like you have a lot of free time and feel like really just being curious about, an odd movie.
Is the ending satisfying at all? Or because you can have an open-ended ending that I actually feel was kind of a conclusion, and then sometimes I feel like
it answers it enough to where you understand what's happening, but you don't understand why it's happening or the greater picture. They answer directly what is happening to Jesse and Imogen's characters. But basically they end up being in this place for, I think, about 9 months to a year. They're stuck. Obviously things happened while they're there. You do get a direct answer, but you're kind of in this, it's a circle. Like basically what happened to them is going to continue to happen to others. But you don't really get to expand more on why that's happening.
This might be one where I just read the plot on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I would say if you don't have as much free time as I do right now, yeah, read the plot on Wikipedia. That should do enough of it too. I mean, the movie's well done. It's well, the acting is good. The script is good. I was intrigued. I wouldn't call it boring. It's just you definitely kind of feel just like, what did I just do for the last hour and a half?
I remember watching the trailer, being like, looks like a mind fuck.
I'll say this: it would have been better. The best relation I can make it to is kind of like a Black Mirror episode or a Twilight Zone type episode that they decided to just make into a full feature film.
Okay. If there's enough of the concept there, though, or enough to the concept, I think that'll work.
Yeah.
Geiger, what else you got?
All right, I put the kid to bed the other night and watched Friday.
Nice.
Wow.
I forgot how many great actors are in this. So you got Ice Cube, you got Chris Tucker, Regina King's in it, Michael Clarke Duncan's in it, Bernie Mac's in it. His dad, I can't remember his name right now, but he actually died, I think, in 2020. I think that's when we lost him. And then, of course, Debo, who is he plays like Zeus and No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan, is in some other couple movies. But this is such I would consider this just there's certain movies that whenever I went into Blockbuster, I just always see their picture or see their cassette. Aaron Brockovich was one. Friday was definitely one. Titanic was one. And these were movies that I'm not old enough to watch these, and I know I can't rent them, but I kind of want to watch them someday. And anytime Friday's on, I usually watch it. It's a fucking fantastic movie. It's just an easy, watchable movie.
I got to say, one of my favorite things that has been happening on the pod the last 2 months is every protein shake you'll bring back a retro watch. That it was Aaron Brockovich the other day, like you just referenced. Now it's this one. It's there are all these movies that we know about, but we kind of just gloss over.
There's some movies that when I ask some of you guys, when's the last time you've given this a really good watch? And you're like, man, maybe 10 years ago. I'm you probably need to revisit it because it's a lot of fun.
You got me just the concept of this. I went back and rewatched You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle the past few weeks. So.
And Friday's on all the time. And I watched it on, I can't remember if it was the IFC or something like that, but it didn't have any commercials and no edits, so it was basically like watching the movie.
Oh, that's big.
The first
not
two
getting edits really good. Is big.
Yeah, I even like Next Friday a lot. The second one.
See, I've never really watched any of the other ones. Just couldn't get into them, I guess.
Yeah, they get a little ridiculous. All right. The only other two things I have, I share with both of you guys. So, Psych, I'll turn it back to you unless you're already on the one we both watched.
Sure. I have a couple, so I can,
just rattle them off.
I've Raised by Wolves, which is a show on HBO. Basically, long story short of that is futuristic. Kind of made me think, and now it's not a comedy, but remember that South Park where Cartman gets frozen because he wants the Wii. He doesn't want to wait for the Wii anymore. And he comes back into the future, and it's the atheist versus the atheists are all killing each other. Oh my science. Basically, this movie is the Earth has been destroyed, and there are theists and atheists who are fighting each other, and there's robots. And the long story short of it is they're on this planet moon, and these robots are raising 6 infant humans on this planet. And basically, that's why they're raised by wolves. These kids are being raised by these robots, and eventually, years later, the theists, the religious people who believe in God, make contact with the planet, and there's obviously conflict that comes out of that, and because the kids have been led to believe one thing, and then there's people on the planet that appear from Earth. Towards the end, then the atheists appear, end up getting on the planet too. But the long story short of it is the first 3-4 episodes, it's lost. It's this incredible idea, and you're definitely brought in, and you're like, I am all about this show. I want to keep watching. The story, the acting is phenomenal, and very quickly it feels like they don't know where to go though. You get to the last couple episodes, and it turned to one of our favorite shows that we've been watching into what the hell just is going on right now. And not to tell you not to watch it because of that, I still would recommend it. Just walk into that kind of that Lost mentality, hoping that they are getting to a season 2, hoping that they actually have a plan. The rumor is the creator has a whole story, which obviously we didn't have with Lost. They just came up with the concept. Hopefully it's true that he has a full beginning, middle, and end. because the concept is good. It's just getting the actual development.
You gotta get the reward at the end.
Yeah, the ending is weird. If you've watched it, oh my god! Just if you're going to watch it, prepare yourself for the last episode. It goes off the rails.
Does it end on a cliffhanger?
Yeah, absolutely. But it answers questions. But you're definitely like, oh my god, what the fuck just happened? I'll leave it up to you. Definitely recommend it. I watched Open Water and Open Water 2. Open Water is actually really well done.
Open Water 2 the one where they're on the boat?
Yeah, so I was going to talk about that because Open Water is a real story. It's a true story, and it's fucking horrifying that you go on a scuba diving trip and you come back up and the boat's gone and you're stuck in the ocean. That really happened. That's a true story. A husband and wife died. And so you watch just two people who go through the 5, senses of what, going for distraught and disbelief and
sounds
bargaining.
Like something we would do to like Banner or somebody. Like if we were on a boat. You'd be like, come on, guys. Seriously, I know you're around.
Make it back.
So I decided, because again, as I said, I have nothing else to do. I watched Open Water 2, which at first I'm like, okay, what are you guys doing now? How many more times are you going to keep leaving people in the water? But as I watched it, the plot of this one is about people partying on a yacht in the middle of the ocean. They all get drunk and they jump off the yacht, except no one lowered the ladder.
Yeah.
And I sat
there's
there
a
going,
baby on the boat too, right?
Yeah, there's a baby on the boat. And I realized as I'm watching, I'm like, that is something that I don't think is as I was making fun of beforehand. I was like, that could happen. Just people getting drunk and jumping off the boat and no one lowered the ladder. And so the whole movie it kind of gives you a little different sense of desperation, just because the boat is right there, and they just can't get on it. So that's not as good in terms of everything as Open Water, but Open Water 2, not as crazy as it seems. I watched Framing Britney Spears, that documentary about. So fuck Justin Timberlake, BSB forever, and then I watched a show on
Cross as a huge piece.
Yeah. Finally, BSB, that's right. I was always on the right train. And just really fast, I watched a show called Imposters on Netflix. Just basically the concept of this woman goes around marrying people and then stealing their money a month after the marriage and going on to the next person and marrying them. And then the people who have been married find each other and determine to find this bride who's been conning them. So actually really enjoying that on season 2 there.
Sounds like my ex-wife. Except jokes on her, I have no money.
Because she took it all.
Anymore.
Unrelated. Geiger, what else you got?
Only one thing. I watched Aquaman. It's on TNT now. I fucking still love this movie. For what it is, it's really good, man. An Aquaman movie is never going to be The Dark Knight. I'm sorry to fucking break it to you. But the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, man, they did it, There's some funny parts to it. It captures Momoa perfectly. He's kind of serious badass, but he can also be funny. And they do a lot in here. Black Manta, his whole story arc makes a lot of sense. Like Aquaman basically let his father die. And that's why it's kind of setting him up for Aquaman 2, which I fucking like, but he's still kind of the villain in this. And then Aquaman basically has to come and reclaim Atlantis for his own. There's a lot of good actors in it. William Dafoe's good in it. I like Amber Heard in it. Momoa fucking kicks ass in it. Got in awesome shape. I still don't understand why this came out on December 21st, especially when Warner Brothers and Six Flags are tied at the hip. And you could have done a whole promotion around Hurricane Harbor and water and all this shit if it just came out in July. Pirates, that'd be like Pirates of the Caribbean coming out in December 3rd. Why? What are you doing here? Other than that, good movie, man. There's so many movies that I watch in DC where I'm like, God, this is good. It sucks that you're part of a universe that no one really cares about.
And that they don't even know how to connect it. Not that that's the be-all.
Wonder Woman is another one. That first one, I'm like, God, this movie's great. Too bad it leads to nothing.
Yeah, I have my issues with the second one for sure. I have Aquaman on my DVR. I still haven't seen it, so I'll have to go back and give it a.
You've never seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah. I love it. It's a great watch. It's fun.
Because obviously my girl Nicole Kidman is his mother.
Yep.
Good on her getting back in DC.
The way they go back and tell the story, you need to watch it because literally the worst kid actor I've ever fucking seen plays Momoa as he's young. Every time I watch it, I have to rewind it. I'm like, he can't be this.
Is he
they
worse
can't go to the
than
Hawaiian Islands, and this is the best kid they could fucking find to be an
worse than what's his name that played Anakin?
You trying to say Jake Lloyd? You
Jake
motherfucker.
Lloyd.
Way to kick him while he's down. He's in
Jake
prison
Lloyd
listening
could
to
act
this.
circles.
He is a big fan of the show, so I kid Jake.
And when
You know
Jake
we love
Lloyd's
you.
out of jail, we're going to be the people to pick him up.
Yeah, Geiger and I already have a rental car for the date. We painted one that looks like a pod racer.
Well, good news. I talked to the judge. I actually got Jake's sentence down so he can coach Pee Wee hockey.
Makes sense.
God, imagine living in a world where that actually happened. The team's called the Sand. Actually, it's not him that doesn't like sand. It's Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, actually, no. He'd have to coach a sand volleyball team.
Oh my God, I would pay so much money for that movie.
Be like, lock me back up.
And it is in the huddle like, I know I don't want to play this sport either. It's coarse, and it's rough, and it gets everywhere. But hey, we signed up for the league for some reason.
That's a redemption story.
All right, the only two things I have left is what I watch with you guys. So, Cycly, why don't you and I go first? The 2014 film The Gift, starring Jason Bateman, Rebecca Hall, and Joel Edgerton, who also directed it. You watched this before me, so why don't you tell people your initial thoughts, and then I'll just kind of come in.
Yeah, I honestly had no idea what I was getting into. I mean, I was just scanning through the thriller section on Netflix. I saw Jason Bateman, and I love Jason Bateman, love Arrested Development. I think he's a good actor. And I was surprised to see him in a thriller because I know Ozark is really good, but he doesn't really stretch too much in the film. So again, nothing to do, so I put it on. I definitely did. On purpose, I did not read anything about it outside of the little synopsis, the 2-sentence synopsis that Netflix gives you. And I have to tell you, as you know, Horns, I texted you immediately. I think maybe halfway through the movie, or that I was shocked that I had not heard of this movie and seen it, because as you and I love thrillers, we love horror, we love dark movies. This was one of the most original, unique, I wouldn't say terrifying, but just edge of your seat thrillers I've seen in a really long time, top to bottom, beginning to end. Just so well done. It really kind of at halfway point in the movie, you start changing your perspective on how you're watching it. Yeah. And so what did you think?
Well, so I had seen this movie before, but as I was going back and rewatching it, I think when I first saw this, I showed up to someone's house who was watching it, and I only saw the last 30 minutes.
Wow.
Because if I did see the whole thing, I definitely don't remember any of the setups to it. And if you want to see The Gift, which I highly recommend it, why don't you hit the skip ahead 30 seconds button 2 times or maybe 3, so Cyclone and I can just briefly talk about the ending. But yeah, I think in a weird way, this movie has you, I don't want to say rooting for Jason Bateman in the beginning, but you're definitely like when Joel Edgerton's character shows up, you're like, dude, this guy's fucking weird. And then all of a sudden, I think kind of the real paradigm shift in the movie is when Joel Edgerton sees Weirdo written above his phone number on the fridge over Gordo. And at that point, I was almost like, all right, as long as you don't hurt Rebecca Hall, you can fuck with this guy as much as you want. And he kind of does that, right? The audience is bought in at that point, and then obviously the reveal at the end is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think, at first, the very first 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I felt like it was Strangers-esque, but instead of torturing a family at home in one night, he's torturing a family at home over a long period. That's what kind of felt like. He was just this weirdo who literally just got off on fucking with his people. And then, like you said, you don't really root for Jason Bateman. You can tell he's kind of a dick, but he's still he rightfully feels weirded out, as you would if you were that character. And yeah, at the end, you're not really rooting for everyone because they're all kind of fucked up, but you want to see Jason Bateman's character, hit rock bottom the way he does. There's something satisfying about that ending when Gordo's watching him through the door and Jason Bateman just curls up in the hospital.
And his life is over, yeah.
And his life is over, and he walks away, takes off the sling, and you're kind of like, damn. And obviously, that's only with the assumption that he did not, spoilers, rape his wife. and just planted the idea in her.
Which you and I don't think he did after this.
No, I don't think there's any chance he did. I think it was all about just like Jason Bateman's rumor of him being gay wasn't real.
Mm-hmm.
It was a false idea that just gets in someone's head and then fucks with them.
And again, skip ahead 30 seconds if you haven't seen the movie, if you somehow accidentally stopped at this part. But Cycly, what do you think happened to their dog?
Yeah, that's a good question.
He had to have taken the dog, right?
Because the question, because at the same time the fish died, and
right.
so
clearly on purpose, or maybe he just bought shitty fish. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the question. Maybe they weren't taking care of the fish. It could just be anecdotal, right? It could just be coincidence that happened. But I think Gordo, at the end of the day, while you might be kind of rooting for him because he's the underdog and been treated like shit his whole life, he's still a pretty fucked up guy.
He's got some issues.
Yeah. What did you think?
I think he took the dog just to fuck with them, just to sort of make them realize that like he does have the upper hand, and kind of the whole thing with him is he's not going to hurt someone who's innocent, a la Rebecca Hall's character, whose name's eluding me, and of course the dog, because if you know,
her name's Robin. Yeah.
Okay, I have one rule in movies: you can kill as many fucking people as you want, but if you harm a dog, then you're irredeemable.
Yeah. Can I just say, and for a thriller?
Rule. Exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah. Really, again, fast forward 30 seconds. Spoiler. For a thriller, there's nobody dies. There's no blood. I think that's incredible. That never happens. That's why I felt like it was such unique storytelling.
That's a really good point. I didn't think of that. And I will say this: Joel Edgerton, direct more movies, man. This was great.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Has he done anything else? I have no idea, to be honest.
That's a good question. Let me check. I do have it pulled up.
Did he do Warrior?
That's the one thing I'm wondering if he did.
I'll say this while you're looking it up. I believe there's 2 more weeks with this left on Netflix. I think it leaves Netflix February 28th. So if you're like me and you love thrillers, you like edge of your seat, you definitely recommend.
I might watch it. That sounds like a good Valentine's movie. Like seriously, like a thriller kind of.
Yes. Yeah. I watched it. I was studying. I told her, I was like, hey, this weekend we're watching it. Like, and she thought it was really good too.
So this is really the biggest movie he's done. He did Boy Erased, Cycly, which is about a conversion therapy camp.
Oh.
I've heard it was incredibly powerful. Nicole Kidman actually plays his wife in it. He I think works at the camp, and Russell Crowe and Nicole Kidman are the couple who send their son to him to convert.
So he clearly enjoys like films about people who have gone through trauma.
Yeah, he's not really writing like Air Bud or Beethoven type films. Yeah, but a hidden talent, because we know what he can do as an actor. Obviously, he's my Uncle Owen, which I think he might be reprising his role in the Obi-Wan series. But
I never put that together.
Oh yeah, he's Uncle Owen.
Oh
bro.
My God, that's Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
Aunt Beru.
So The Gift, highly recommend it. Geiger, if you check it out, we'll have to talk about it on pod, even though, sorry, we kind of spoiled some key plot points.
Not really. I won't know what's going on until I start watching it. I'm like, oh, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah,
like
it's worth it either way.
Yeah, and I think the wife would get really into it too. All right, Geiger, you want to talk about the thing we watched together?
So we watched the Al Davis versus the NFL 30 for 30, which timing of this was perfect. Super Bowl week. And this is something of our age group I don't remember at all. As a Raiders fan, and my dad's a Raiders fan, like he would tell me some of this stuff, because all I knew about Al Davis was he basically looked like a corpse. We called him the Emperor. And I knew that he was one of those Steinbrenner, Jerry Jones like owners, that kind of ran the team. But since I've been of sound mind and body, he kind of just fucked everything up, which is really sad because, that's like toward the end of his career. Like he coached the fucking Raiders. He was the commissioner of the AFL, which some people think was better than the NFL at the time. That was all the, basically the AFC is pretty much the AFL. Yeah. And the Raiders were the most winning team. They were the Yankees of the 70s and 80s. They were the most winning team in any sports through the 70s and 80s. And this really dictated that. And I think it also, Jeff, dictated basically Al Davis's just vision of the NFL, because a lot of what he did and what he fought for that people thought, this is what I love, is when at the time they think that you're crazy or you're a renegade or whatever. And then in 20 years, once you're dead and no one talks about you anymore, you basically change it, and that's just kind of the status quo now. Like everyone wants new, bigger stadiums. The NFL is a cash machine, and that's what Al
Oh
Davis
yeah.
saw, and no one else did at all.
Yeah, he was a true visionary. And actually one thing, Matt, sorry not to diverge too much, but the interview at the very end, I don't know if you caught this in the credits, where Brent Musburger is interviewing Jerry Jones.
Yep.
And Jerry Jones is talking about really how Al Davis inspired his whole methodology to ownership. I would have just loved to hear Jerry talk about Al for like 30 minutes. I wish that would have actually made it into the doc proper.
I've actually heard Jerry Jones talk about Al Davis just because of work and stuff. I've
Yeah.
heard him talk about Al Davis and how they were really good friends, and how he said he loved Al because we saw the NFL the same way, which was really, just interesting how they did it. And as a Raiders fan, every football fan thinks their team is against them, but as a Raiders fan, and this documentary shows, the NFL was against us.
Yeah.
Like we sued the NFL like 2 or 3 times. And I love Al talking about Atkinson and Jack Tatum, who I have a jersey of, and how basically like they were the hitmen in the NFL. And Atkinson sued, I think the Steelers owner for calling him a thug and stuff.
So I have a few. I was just writing down notes as I was watching it that I want to get your thoughts on. First off, incredible quote by Al Davis, and Cycly, you'll love this too. He was asked in an interview, when you used to play sports, were you usually the one picked first for the backyard football game or the one picked last? And Al Davis says, well, I'd like to think that I was the guy doing the picking.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which I just thought was like a great quote from your owner. And obviously not one you can really have like teed up. Another thing, Al Davis had a rule, which obviously if you even uttered these words in an interview now, you would be fined out of your fucking ass in the NFL. But he told his defense, I don't care if they don't even throw the ball in the first 5 plays of the game, but you need to knock the opposing quarterback on his ass within the first 5 plays of the football game, at least once. If you even said that now, they'd be like, you can't own a team. The other thing I had, and Matt, this is kind of the whole point of the documentary, and Cycly, you would love the collusion that happened in the jury selection it was declared a mistrial, but it was absolutely insane in the case of Al Davis versus the NFL. But Pete Rozelle, and I don't want to talk ill of the dead, because even Al Davis and him, I think, had a very respectful relationship, even though they were at odds probably their whole lives. But he's basically an idiot because aside from it just being an obvious power play, the methodology in terms of a business strategy to having a franchise in Los Angeles versus it being a vacant market after the Rams moved to Anaheim, I mean, you have to be a fucking idiot not to want a team there, right?
I mean, that's just old days, man. Like now, and I don't know what their profit sharing was, but now like the NFL wanted a team in Vegas. Because,
Yes.
I mean, Jerry
their
Jones
owners want a
wanted a
team
team
in
in
Vegas.
Vegas because even though his team's not in Vegas, he's going to make money off the team being in Vegas. And if a team's making money somewhere, the NFL's making money as a whole. And the other thing, Jeff, I had on my notes that I'm glad they dipped into that no one ever fucking talks about Al Davis, but he was the first minority to win a Super Bowl in Flores, first coach to hire a minority, and first coach to hire an African American. And they didn't say this, but he also is the first owner to hire a woman as, I think, like vice president of something, and they didn't dive into that, but he was like the first to do all of that.
He hired Art Shell twice, too.
Yeah.
A few other things real quick. I never realized, and Cycly, I don't know if you've heard this, but on the Immaculate Reception by Franco Harris, against the Steelers with the Raiders, there is a really poorly missed clipping call, which we used to get called against us all the time in our NCAA 06 dynasty, where a Steelers guy clips a Raider who would have tackled Franco Harris, and he scored. So it's bad.
I don't think I knew that.
And I hate how the Raiders are all conspiracy theory or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, do you trust John Madden? Because John Madden even said, we didn't have instant replay in the 70s. Why were the referees on the phone?
Yeah, that was really weird.
Wow, I need to watch this.
Yeah. And Madden is, Matt, my family is close personal friends with John Madden. Literally, my uncle is his next door neighbor. And
he was the youngest coach at the time. Also, Al hired the youngest coach in NFL history, who was John Madden.
Yeah. Also, I think the best quote of the whole documentary is towards the end. And it's this Oakland Raiders fan when the team comes back from LA, and he says, quote, Sorry to my girlfriend watching, but the Raiders coming back in Oakland is the best thing to happen to me in 15 years.
And then my wife looked at me like for 10 seconds after he said that. I'm just
And you're like,
"What?"
I didn't say it. He did.
I thought it.
This was
but-
like 30 years ago. Like,
It's like, but Matt, you're nodding in agreement and you just cheers at the TV.
the only thing bad, I don't even know if I have anything bad to say about this cycling, but when you watch it, so at first I was like, I'm like, why are we doing this? And then I started liking it. But they had Al Davis and Pete Rozelle, who are both dead, talk about the story.
Yeah, they
As
did
like
Oh,
Leia
electronic,
Tarkin
like
deep
it looked
fake.
like PlayStation 2 image
Oh, shit.
guys.
And they had him in the It was cool because they had them talking in the new Raider Stadium in Vegas.
Yeah.
I
So it
just
looked
think
like a
this-
PlayStation.
It's pretty wild.
the deepfake technology it's in its infancy, but it's really
Scary.
intriguing. Yeah.
It's gonna be scary too, for sure. I mean,
Well, First off, I didn't like it because I'm like, what is this, Tron Legacy? What the fuck are we trying to do? But then I started thinking,
How dare you,
well,
Beth.
who would tell this story, Jeff? Because
Right.
as a Raiders fan, Mark Davis is who cares? Like he's not like who would tell the story
Yeah.
unless you just do clippings of like old or have old timers. But yeah, have Al and Pete tell it, kind of from their point of view, even though they're dead. I thought it was extremely original. Once I got into it, I'm like, okay, I actually kind of fucking like this. This is pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
how they come together at the end was kind of cool too.
Because I wrote in my review on Letterboxd, the narrative is actually kind of like, it's all just litigious. Like his court case is just kind of like, man, this can get really, it can be like the prequels, like episode 1, where it's like we're talking about taxation of trade routes the whole time. So to introduce that, I think it really helps show the personality that Al Davis was and how he just kind of saw where the league was headed before it actually went there. Because that to me is more interesting, although it's a little more superfluous. Like you can't really pin it down. It's not so much a story. It's just kind of like an idea that he
There's
had.
so many other things he did that was so revolutionary. Like he fired Lane Kiffin and didn't pay him
Which is
and
awesome.
got away with it.
Well, Lane Kiffin attempted like a 74-yard field goal.
And then Jeff, he traded John Gruden for 2 first-round draft picks.
Yeah, I've never
Would
heard
you
of it.
trade Pete Carroll for 2 first-round draft picks?
Yes, I would trade Pete Carroll for.
Everybody would trade. I don't care who your head coach is. You would trade your head coach for 2. That's 2 Pro Bowlers
Yeah,
under very cheap contracts.
or it's Darius Hayward Bay and someone else.
Like I said,
That was a low blow.
he didn't cash in on him, but I mean, like no one even knew he did. And the best thing he ever did that I thought would be talked about in the documentary because this is his time zone, but he drafted in like I think it was either the 10th round or it was even in like not even the NFL draft. He drafted Bo Jackson.
Oh, that's right.
And that was when Bo was, I think it was in his second year of baseball, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to draft him number 1 out of college, and Bo said, I'm not playing there, so don't even draft me, I'm going to play baseball. And then Al kind of did a sideways thing. He's like, hey, if I draft you, will you play? And he's just like, in LA? Yeah, I'll play. So, and then he said, but when it's baseball season, I got to play baseball. And Al's like, I don't care. We have Marcus Allen. And then Al, as being a dick, didn't even draft him in like the first 3 rounds. He drafted him like way later. And then everyone's like, Bo Jackson? Like, why did you draft Bo Jackson? And then had the best running back in NFL at the time. And had to have Marcus Allen play fullback. A Hall of Fame Marcus Allen played fullback for Bo Jackson.
That's like a cyclonized NCAA football team where we'd have a Heisman Trophy winner coming off the bench.
He literally, man, was like 3 steps ahead of everybody. It was like brilliant. It's because he was Jerry Jones, but he also had the football mind. That's what was great about Al Davis.
Totally agreed. All right, you guys have anything else, or we're ready to move on to the last part of our show?
Cycling, you need to watch that though. It's a great.
I do absolutely need to watch that.
All right, well, we don't have Brian here to do his bird noise, but the last part of our show is our Do You Even Lift Bruh segment, which is a question and answer segment where we ask a question that we leave you guys with as we discuss it. And this week, no spoilers here, but in the previous week, WandaVision on Disney Plus had a pretty insane cameo at the end of episode 5. So it got us thinking, fellas, what is your favorite or best pulled off cameo of all time? Most likely a movie, but could be television, could be either. Likely we'll go to you first.
I have a couple, if that's okay. Just because I always just love when it's just like out of nowhere. Like, so I'll go away. Like Matt Damon in Euro Trip when he's singing "Scotty Doesn't Know."
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
Because like, what the fuck?
Why?
Yeah.
It's you're just like, wait, what? That's Matt Damon. I don't know. It's so random. It's nonsensical, but that makes it so great. I fucking love that one. I'll go quick.
Almost put him in Thor Ragnarok as Loki. Or
that's
the actor
true. Yeah. The actor playing. Yeah. Daniel Craig in Force Awakens as the stormtrooper. Who gets
that Ray is like
Ray fucks with Jimmy Buffett in Jurassic World when he's double fisting and being attacked by
margaritas.
And I'll just finish with this one and horns. I know you'll love this. The Backstreet Boys at the end of This Is the End.
Yes, so good.
Sorry, there was just I love these cameos because I love it when it puts someone who doesn't really belong. It's fine when you get a cameo of that person being just that person in the movie, but none of those I saw coming at all.
Great ones. Geiger, how about you?
I'll do two, which is like one I would just say, and it sucks because the next thing that came out wasn't as good as expected, but I'm going to say the ending of Split, just because I didn't fucking see it coming.
Yes, dude. Oh my god.
I remember being in theaters and I was just like, what?
You went from this movie was good to holy shit.
To basically everything I just saw, now I want to watch again. And now, I mean, anytime I leave a theater and I want to go right home and watch a different movie or, that connects with that movie, it's fucking good. And I'll have to say the other one, even though this movie isn't very good, but at the end I just thought it fit really well, is when Ozzy comes in Lil Nicky and bites the fucking bat. And I was just like, because I was like, dude, it's all about the devil and stuff. I'm like, who can we have in here? Let's just have fucking Ozzy come in.
He had a couple cameos around that time because he was also in, is it the second Austin Powers?
Third one,
yeah,
I think. Is it the second? Yeah, that's right.
And they're like all looking up at the Dr.
But the Split one, man, I'd have to say, just as the element of surprise, I'm just like, because I don't know how they kept that hush hush, and maybe it's just because why would anybody read about Split? It's just like, okay, it's just a M. Night Shyamalan movie. Who cares? Like, but I didn't hear anything about that connecting to a different universe or anything.
I just remember Matt leaving, like he went into the movie like, I'm gonna go watch this M. Night Shyamalan piece of shit, and then he leaves and he goes, M. Night's back, baby.
Well, I knew it was gonna be good because we're all about. I was like, dude, McAvoy's doing all these voices. He might get an Oscar nom. That's why we watched it. And at the end, I'm like, oh damn, this okay.
That was cool. That's why, dude, that's one thing I just miss about theaters is like that experience where you're like,
I'm like, what?
You're standing in like the little ramp on the side, you're like, whatever, dude, fucking just show me the post-credit scene. Oh my god.
You go to your neighbor, you nudge him that you've been sitting by for 2.5. I'm like, you see this? I'm like, dude, you don't know me. What are you doing?
That's a good one. I have two as well. My first one actually also involves James McAvoy, and this I just think is like, it wasn't unexpected, but if you got 30 seconds to film with an actor, it's just like some of the best use of that time. And that is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in X-Men First Class. When McAvoy and Fassbender walk in to try to recruit him for the X-Men, and before they can even get a word out, he says, fuck off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is the one use of an F-bomb in the PG-13 movie that they use. Which is really good. And then another one, and this movie's not great. It's definitely not bad, but if you guys remember in The Internship, which was the follow-up where Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson teamed up, where they go work at Google, there is a brief scene where before Owen Wilson takes the internship at Google, he goes and works at his brother-in-law's mattress business. And his brother-in-law is played by Will Ferrell. Who, Matt and I love this quote, but his brother-in-law is an extreme douchebag, and he has a tattoo on his neck, and he goes, you see this tattoo on my neck? It says, make reasonable choices. And Owen Wilson goes, an odd thing to get tattooed where you can't cover it up. And it's just like this, Will Ferrell just has a penchant for showing up briefly and
Will
playing.
Ferrell's a king.
Yeah, I was going to say Will Ferrell is the best.
Starsky and Hutch and The Goods are probably my favorite too. Will Ferrell.
Wedding Crashers is always going to be.
Yeah, Wedding Crashers.
Meatloaf.
God, those are all great ones. I forgot about The Goods where
he's Abraham Lincoln.
And he tries to cushion his fall from a plane with a dildo.
When he makes him do the dragon thing on Starsky and Hutch is fucking hilarious too.
Frank Myers? Yeah.
It's gonna sound weird, but I want 2 dragons now.
And then they're riding in the car back. No one's talking. It's like,
Heard it's
thinking
gonna
about
rain
later.
tomorrow. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
right.
saw that too. Looks like cloud. God damn it. Nice. I'd be interested to hear Banner and Thurman's favorite cameo, so we might have to pose this question again.
Banner would probably be some shark or something. from the book.
Like, well, technically he's only in the book and not the movie, and we'd be like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right, before we leave the people for episode 142, closing thoughts, Cycly.
Go Hawks and go Iceland.
Whoa.
The Gunner Stall Chronicles coming soon.
Wolf the Dentist Stenson, baby. Let's go.
Why do I feel like they'd be even easier to defend than the Hawks? They're just
Yeah.
at the Junior Goodwill Games trying to represent their country.
Yeah, we don't like them because they're from a different country. How dare they?
Fuck them. Geiger, how about you? Closing thoughts.
Literally, man, with Cobra Kai killing it on Netflix, we need a Gunner Stall. Like, and Wolf the Dennis Stanson comes back, and like Iceland, he has to regain the Iceland team.
If there aren't cameos at all in the new Mighty Duck series by all these old villains, I will riot. Like, honestly, they have to.
Do you think
bring them
Weiss will be on there?
back. They have to. I mean, what else are these people doing?
I mean, he's doing crack.
Well, that too.
They can
Yeah.
show that. It's Disney Plus,
Yeah.
not PBS, you know? I'm actually really mad. And we're dropping the Mighty Ducks commentary like around the release of the show, but I'm really pissed that the show does seem to be glorifying the participation trophy generation. Like, the mom bitches because her kids don't make a tryout, so we're supposed to hate the team for...
Yeah. I'll have to say, man, Emilio is coming back. He's got this, and apparently Young Guns 3 is in the works.
What?
That's what I've read.
My God. I always wonder, what is Emilio... I mean, he just must make so much off royalties that he doesn't need to act, because he's been like above reprising any of these roles for so long that I'm just like, but what are you actually doing?
I mean, I was pissed because I'm like, oh man, that means like Kiefer and Charlie Sheen can come back, but I think they both died. I know Charlie Sheen died in the first one.
And Charlie Sheen might be dead in real life by the time it comes. Like, let's be honest. But I guess
He was
the
on a
deepfake-
commercial. The other, I think, is in a Super Bowl.
Deep fake, man. Come on.
Yeah,
We're just
deepfake
talking
is
about
where it needs to be. If you're cool
Maybe-
with him looking like a PS2 cutscene, then we're good.
AIDS
That's why
contagious.
Emilio's coming back. He's finally free of him.
Emilio actually in the Mighty Ducks show looks like he's lost quite a bit of weight, so good on
He
him.
needed to.
It was a health thing. All right, for our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli, and our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger. I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. You can find us on Letterboxd for all of our reviews. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube if you type in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words. And don't forget to check out everything in our squad blog. We actually just dropped one this week from Matt Geiger, which you'll like to read at broforcesquad.com. Till next time, quack, quack, quack.
Can't triple deke with cankles, Emilio.
What a cocky ass move.
My favorite quote in the second one is he goes, Charlie, I missed it by a quarter of an inch. And Charlie's like, yeah, but if you missed it by a quarter of an inch the other way, you would have missed the whole goal completely. He's like, never thought about it like that.
Never thought about it like that, Charlie.
He's like, well, yeah, that's just really vain and pompous of you to not
Yeah.
think about shooting it the other way.